Welcome in to another episode of the Nap Bros podcast. This is episode 8, where we are going to talk about chapter 6. So keep up with the numbers. We are talking about chapter 6, which is to preside. This is the final chapter in the mission section in part 2 of this book. Also, we'll go ahead and just, for those of you watching on YouTube, we'll go ahead and just I don't know, just let the cat out of the bag. I am currently now bald, and I have no hair currently on my head. So we'll just go ahead and just say that this is just
That is not a filter on Snapchat. That
not a
is
filter.
110%.
Authentic, real, legitimate. This is it. And so
It really brings out your eyes.
that's
let's
good.
Say.
That's good.
Super
good.
blue. They're super blue. I was like,
Yeah.
besides the blinding light off the top of your head, the eyes were the next thing I noticed.
It could be that but it could also be that I'm sitting and the sun is in that direction, and so could be that.
So it's shining on you, is what you're saying.
Yeah. You know, just sun likes me. So anyway, Andrew, if you will take it away, give us a synopsis, a summary of what this chapter.
The sun likes me. Okay. Presiding. Oof, man, that's a long time ago.
Oh yeah. Or do you want me to check off with it?
No. I will handle this 110%. I was discussing with my brother how quickly things leave my mind after I read them. It's disturbing.
Yep.
Presiding, basically leading as an individual, leading as a family member, leading as, member in church. It's not just a one position or one aspect. What does it mean to lead? There's 4 points in this book itself. One says going first. So not just doing the things we ask, but being willing to do things that we ask of others to do. Number 2, making decisions and taking responsibility for them. I am a firm believer in that. Like, if I mess up, I will be the first one in whose ever office it needs to be told to that I messed up, because I'm not going to let nobody else take that power away from me. Casting a vision, when you're leading. This third option, when you're leading, you have to have a goal or a vision that somebody's willing to follow. I mean, can't lead if you have no followers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, creating other leaders. I feel like a lot of people fail at this in the sense of nobody wants to lose control, but it's not really losing control. I mean, there's things that you can and can't do, and you need other leaders that can help you do that yourself or themselves. So yeah, as men, we're supposed to lead. Most people might think that's archaic, if I'm saying that correctly, because that's the old times. Men used to lead, but now we're so progressive. Men or women can lead, but I don't feel like that's true. Men are looked to all the time in bigger issues. So yes, men lead 110%. Comments, complaints?
Well, no, I mean nothing in relationship to that. I would say so. So no. I guess I can understand that. I would say there would be a lot of people who would say that women also have the ability to lead, and that they should have the opportunity to lead as well. But I would say overall, men are the ones who are. I think it's just, again, like going back to what Mickler says. It is our mission. It's one of our missions. It's the third mission in our triathlon that we're running through, is to preside, to be the leader, to be the one ultimately responsible for what happens in the different situations.
How would you lead, Nick? Like what do you look at as being a leader, if that makes sense at all? And I'll get into mine. We all know what I'm leading, but let's talk about you. How are you leading on a day-to-day basis?
So in I would say there's probably 3 situations that are most imperative for me leading. One would be obviously the most important in life is leading my wife. Being in charge of like the family as a whole, being able to you know guide her and direct in what situations, like make the decisions that are imperative or important for us as a family, and then also definitely for work, leading my students, giving them knowledge, guiding them in the direction that they need to go, but also being a leader in the office as well, where my colleagues may ask me questions or look to me for answers for certain things, or I may just impart like wisdom on them, whether it's like how to handle certain students, how to handle other colleagues, how to handle difficult situations. Just in that, I feel like that is a requirement for me to lead. And then lastly would be definitely in coaching little boys. I coach little boys how to play American football, and kind of leading them in that direction. But also because of the fact that I'm the only American in the group of coaches, I'm also working to coach the coaches on how to coach their uh, uh, their players better. Whether that's teaching them better, uh, just any type of like mechanics in American football, and also teaching them how to coach in a better way, just overall, not just in the mechanics, but also just how you treat your players. Like if you treat your young kids
We,
as
we
like
call that here in America, or at least we call that here in like the industry, training the trainer, so to speak. You're training the coaches how to coach. I
right,
get you,
right.
one
So
hundred ten percent.
so yeah. How about you?
I mean, family for sure. I mean, that's my biggest thing. More and more work. There are some school projects where actually, it's funny. The school project I'm on, I'm kind of like been the leader, but now I'm kind of like, you know what, like I don't know, I'm not giving up, but I'm like, at some point in time, it's enough's enough. I'm tired of beating my head in the ground for these people.
Yeah,
But I mean, for me, the biggest one is just my kids. How am I leading my kids on a day to day? Am I leading them in the right straight and narrow? They'll catch me slipping every once in a while if I let go of a few choice words. They'll be like, "Daddy, don't say that."
mm,
You're right. You're right. So um, just top foremost is just kids. How am I raising my kids, and how will my leadership affect them too?
right, right.
You know, um, in there, Mickler talks about letting his son choose what they do for a day. I've kind of did that a little bit. It's like you choose what we do today. They'll be like, where do you want to eat? McDonald's. Okay, let me take that back. You and I discussed that. What do you want to eat out of these choices? That are a little less ridiculous. What do you want to do out of these choices? We went to Jump Air Zone last weekend,
Hmm.
and I told him, I was like, if we go here, we're not doing this. So which one do you want? So we get out of Jump Air Zone, and of course, first thing I say is I want to do this other thing. I said we're not doing. I was like, really, like we just talked about this, or this past weekend. It's like it's kind of like Nona offered Nona being their grandma. Just in case y'all don't know that, it's Italian for grandma. Anybody don't know that? They're like, well, let's bake cookies. So of course they're all super excited about baking cookies. We go bake cookies, and then like we didn't get to decorate them yet. So Saturday morning we wake up, we decorate them all. Then what do we do? The Clydesdales were in town. Budweiser
Hmm.
Clydesdales were in town. We went and saw them. I said, we'll go to the play place over here. One was like, can we go do this? What was it? They want to go bowling. I was like, we're not going bowling. Bowling's just too expensive right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
We'll wait for tomorrow or something where it's cheaper. But basically, it's kind of like a subjective leadership, I guess. Like there's boundaries to how much they can lead. Because if not, we are blowing every bit of daddy's money. All bars, all bars of money, all lenient seas just washed away. Dad, we're just gonna buy everything.
Yeah,
Nope,
yeah.
nope, right here. Um,
Well, and
what
that
was
and that
that?
and that and the other thing
Uh,
too. The other thing about that too is that like when you have even that in and of itself is a form of leadership where you're teaching them that you know just because daddy has money and yes daddy could buy all of these different things, it's not being wise with the money, like, and so even in that leading them in that particular case, like I don't have that necessarily, and actually I've been blessed with a wife who's actually more frugal than I am, and so we'll go like this past weekend we went out, we one of our friends was in, and we'll go out and we'll like kind of splurge a little bit on food and things to do, but now it's like getting back, and it's like, okay, we did that. Now we need to kind of like tighten the belt a little bit more and make sure that. And in all honesty, I don't have to lead in that type of scenario because she's already very adamant about that. Like she's already very good about being frugal and being mindful of what we're using the money on and where it's going. So I don't have to be as like as not, I don't want to say controlling, but like I don't have to be as mindful in leading in that because she's already kind of like taken that responsibility, which is kind of nice. And so there are things that I don't really have to lead in, and I can allow her to be the leader in. Now that being said, I'll give you this one thing that I've allowed her to lead in, but I need to take back leadership on is like when it comes to food and the food that we eat and cooking and stuff like that. Not because she hasn't done a good job of it, because she was doing a great job of it, but now that she's working, there's less time, and so it's like we go out to eat, or we will buy stuff out instead of like making stuff at home, which is going to be healthier for us and even cheaper to that extent. But now I've got to take back leadership in that because of the fact that like it's better for both of us. Like when she has time, she can go buy groceries and cook. But then when I have time, which is generally a lot, I can buy groceries and I can cook. And so getting back to that point where we're now splitting that responsibility for two reasons. One, because we need to in order to save a little bit of money, but two, also because we need to make sure that we're saving or we're trying to eat and be healthier, that kind of thing.
well, I don't disagree. I mean, you're willing to give up something. You have to be willing to trade off something as far as what somebody else can do as far as leadership or
Mm,
whatnot. But a lot of it is what do you have time for? What's your best quality or traits that you bring to the table? And then also, like, what are you most equipped to make decisions in? Like, if you're more equipped to make the food decisions, like you and I both know what helps us lose weight. We also know what helps us not lose weight.
mhm.
So if you're talking about losing weight, then yeah, maybe you should be making the decision. Um, Stuff like that. For me, it's like that's not hard. Like I look at it like even though people are like you shouldn't take kids to McDonald's. If I take my kid to McDonald's on Saturday, and they're with their mama throughout the week, I know she's cooking them home cooked meals. I'll go pick up some bread and make sandwiches and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm more like, they're here to spend time with me, not me spend time in the kitchen and them just wasting away in a closet somewhere watching TV or something like that. Not
Right.
closet, I mean room, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and at that point, it's like there's sometimes yes, I'll try and cook for them. If it's something easy, like hot dogs, and I don't feel like getting out. Cheeseburgers. I'm one heck of a peanut butter and jelly maker. Like I am just crazy good at that. But sometimes it's like you don't want to make the decision to go out and buy food, and like I don't have time to buy food ever. I go and get 20 things of groceries with the kids, and usually that's because we're at Sam's Club already getting a snack or something anyway. So I'll
Right,
buy
right,
groceries then. You
right.
know, trade offs when you can do it.
Well, and even in that case, like you've made that decision of it's better for you to spend time with your kids versus spending time in the kitchen while the kids are, doing whatever on like
Destroy the house.
or destroying the house. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so like even that can be a form of leadership, where you've made that your decision. And even kind of like going like I guess you could say like that kind of leads into what he's talking about with this idea of your vision, right? Or like your cause. It's a minor one, like because I think when he talks about like having a vision or having a cause, that he's probably talking about like maybe a little bit bigger of a thing, like what is it that you're pursuing for like your future and stuff. But even in this case, the vision of wanting to spend more time with your family instead of cooking and stuff, that's the thing. Like right now, Shelly and I, like, we don't have any kids. We're not needing to do anything per se like at home. So it's not a terrible thing that we're going out to eat. It's just that now my vision is, and our vision as a group is, we would like to lose weight. We want to lose some weight. And so now it's like, okay, now we've got to be for real about this, like cooking food and stuff like that. As where your vision is, I need to spend time with my family. It's not saying that going out to eat is always going to be unhealthy. Like you can go get healthy stuff outside of the house, but for us, it's very difficult to find good stuff outside of the
So
house.
what keeps you from making decisions like that? Or just decisions in general?
To be honest, just 100% laziness. It's not like fear of anything. It's not like concern of anything.
It's easier not to do it, right?
So much easier. Gosh,
Right.
it's just like, yeah, just not having to think about it, not having to like go into it. But yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest thing when it comes to food. Like other things, I'll think
What
about
is
it.
it? What is it? What does the Bible say? Something about the way to heaven is narrow and the way to hell is paved with gold or something like that. I don't know. I'm misrepresenting and misinterpreting it majorly. Hold on. Don't quote me on that.
So it says, "Broad is the way that leads to destruction, and narrow is the way that leads to salvation." I believe is
That's exactly what I said. 110%. Like that is exactly my
So
words
what? So
verbatim.
what exactly are you meaning by that? What's your
It's easier.
point
It's
bringing
easier
that up?
not to make the decision.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
Okay.
it's easier to just be that way. And that's same with me. It's easier for me not to have to cook for the kids and to go out to eat. But like for me, like I'm not even thinking of those decisions. Like I remember the first time I had to make a decision. Like I asked, oh, who did I ask? I don't know if it was my wife or I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of like when you go from that out of teenager to young adult to make your own choices. You ask somebody, "Hey, what do you think I should do?" And the response you get, the response that just devastates you is that's your choice. You have to make a decision. You're like,
Hmm.
geez, because you're not just looking for help to make a decision. You're also kind of looking for a fall guy too. If you're being honest with yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody wants to be at fault for what goes wrong. Like nobody. When I was married, it was the same thing. It was like it seemed like I made a lot of the harder decisions. And when the stuff hit the fan, I was come to often. I was approached. Why didn't this work out?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is. We got to move on. Let's step past it and move on.
Well, one of the
It's
things too that
it
you
is
could,
crippling. Honestly,
yeah.
you said there's no fear of it. It is kind of crippling if you get caught up in making a decision and you're too afraid to face the consequences. Like it is, it could be devastating to a person, to a man.
What do
Like
you?
that.
So what do you? Give me an example of like one of those scenarios, because like in my mind, like I can't really come up with
You
like.
had a scenario right there. Should I go to China? But it doesn't affect you in the way of like you're all by yourself.
Right, 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 right.
For me, like I have this one decision coming up. I mean, I haven't got offered a job yet anywhere. I graduate in 2 weeks. What do I do?
Mm.
What do I do? If I get the job that I think I deserve or that I want, that means me traveling, me getting away from my kids. That is a hard choice. That is a decision I will have to live with for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Or do I settle? Do I settle for something that's around here just so I can spend time with my kids? And that's the question. That is the the world we live in is. I love. Something else is if I didn't do engineering, I'd probably doing something like economically, because the world is trade offs. You're trading this for that.
Mm-hmm.
When you make a decision, chapter 8 talks about this too. There's not just always two choices, but when you make a decision between two choices, let's say, you're right or wrong. Either you're right or you're wrong. Or the third choice, you make whatever you choose work, and that's kind of like, I know 110%, like, that's exactly what I will have to do, because this is a great opportunity. I'm supposed to actually find out this week, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Lord willing. But, with that being said, if they offer me this, I'll be sacrificing a lot, but, it'll be gaining more too. And like that's what y'all was saying. So, but to answer your question, more importantly, wrapping it back around, you said, what choices have I made in the past? Choices I've made in the past is, should I quit my job or stay there?
Mm-hmm.
Should I go to school full time and go to second shift? There's all these different choices I had to make. Should I go to school?
Okay.
If I go to school, what do I go for?
Yep.
If I go to school for that, when do I take my classes? Do I go full time? Do I go part time? If I go full time, what shift do I need to work? If I work this shift, you're all like, what choices? What choices are not difficult to make when you have a family? It's really magnified. You have you and Shelly.
Mm-hmm.
When you have you, Shelly, and then 700 kids like I have, it's just like the choices. Like I said, they could be crippling, and then you go to somebody, I'll go to my wife and I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? It's ultimately your decision. That's not what I need to hear. No, stop it. Don't be that way. Yes, 100%.
But in essence, it needs to be that way. Like if
Oh
if
no,
it's
no, it does. But like I said, we're in fear.
looking for
We
that
all want
fault.
a scapegoat. Yeah,
Yep.
we
Yep.
all don't want to be the person that screwed up and cost ourselves everything. Like for instance, during this economic downturn, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I went to my wife and I was like, "Hey, I want to invest in this company on Robinhood, right?" I got into stock trading, whatever. I want to
Mm-hmm.
invest in this company. Wayfair. Do you know Wayfair, Nick?
Wayfair. No, I
It's
don't think so.
online shopping. Like, it's just online shopping, right?
Okay.
It was like $20 a share or something like that, we'll say.
Okay. Okay.
I want to put $5,000 into it. Which, you're like, okay, well, what's that? Well, by the end of that month that I wanted to invest in it, it would have gained us $40,000.
Wow.
Like that. What I did was I went and asked my wife, hey, I'd like to invest in this. She said, no, that's not a good idea. I listened. Trade offs, I'm 40,000. I'm not any worse off, but I could have been, a little better off.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing too. Is like being willing to listen to others, like open
I
it
say,
up
I
to
say
discussion.
economic downturn. During COVID. It's just COVID. When COVID hit, everybody went
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
Wayfair just took off. Like,
Yeah.
could have made. Why make millions when you can make thousands? Not joking.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like being willing to go and ask, like especially in the relationship, but also being willing to be like, well, okay, like maybe not invest 5,000, maybe sit there and say, okay, well, I think it'll be good for 2,500, or being able to have enough of an argument for how if we lose the 5,000, it's not going to kill us in the end, that kind of thing. But also it is your
No, that'd
choice.
kill us. That would have killed us.
Oh, see, that's the thing is like yeah, put it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm like 5,000. Maybe it wouldn't have killed you, but
Killed you, don't kill you. Who knows? You know what I mean?
but the thing is like
I mean, it would have killed us in the sense that we wouldn't have had no reserves. You know, we were still living off of a paycheck. Like we were still making it off of our paychecks.
right,
The money was just there.
yeah.
It was actually tax money from the year before. That's all it
Oh, okay,
was.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like to an extent, like I would have probably like I mean that's what you do is like you made that decision. You're like okay, and then you just say hey, like next time look at this like and show and be like we could have been here, like next time I think it's gonna be better for us to just invest in that. Maybe not as much, like talk a little bit less, but yeah, I mean I think because like even now I guess in essence yeah for me so I guess like the biggest, quote unquote, the biggest like thing that I've had to choose to do that was up to me ultimately to take it was I guess you could say either like a moving to Shanghai from Hangzhou, but that was
Um,
still a
I don't,
very
I don't, I just want to jump in real quick. It's Shanghai on this side of the world. I don't know what it is over there, but
Shanghai, yeah. So,
I'm
uh,
sorry.
but like that could be it, or it could be letting like choosing to let Shelly go back to work because now she's like there in certain evenings and isn't at the house, which kind of sucks. But it's also like understanding that she really enjoys being able to work. And so to deprive her of that, I feel like would be a bad part on my end, as long as we have this like understanding that she has certain days off and she does, and it's great. And so being able to lead in that regards, like those types of decisions. But those aren't in my mind. Those aren't necessarily
So
fearful
did you
decisions.
make her go back to work, or did you? She came and
She
asked you.
she wanted to. It wasn't like I was like, oh okay, because we're not strapped for money at all. Like she doesn't have to work at all. She just likes it, which is
It's
we're
better than being stuck at home all day not doing nothing.
exactly. And so so to that
So
end,
I'm trying to wrap this up. You know, like you're getting like I'm not saying tangent, but
mm,
what is your vision? You being a leadership for your family. What is your vision? You know, what's the end goal for you and your wife? Tough question. You like pause there. You're like, oh,
well, yeah, I guess it is something that I should think about,
so
especially
so
since we got this text.
let me paint my picture for you. I'll paint my vision. You know, I'll try and give you time to think. You know
Cool,
that
cool,
big old head of yours should have plenty
yeah,
of time to think.
yeah. All the thoughts just go floating out of it is what happens.
That's right. There's no hair to retain
There's
and push it
nothing to
back
like
in.
keep it locked in.
Of course, graduating, that's part of the vision, but not so much graduating. It's always been, you know, you'll have this too. I feel like once you get where I am, and what I mean by that is once you start having some kids,
Mm,
hopefully soon, because you know I think your mother's tired of waiting on you to hurry up and have a girl or two.
yeah.
That being said, it's first and foremost. I feel like most parents, unless you're just a horrible parent, no, I'm just joking. I didn't mean like that. Most parents, though, feel like they want their kids not only to have a better opportunity that they have, but to be better than them, right? You know, and what do I mean by that? You know, I don't think I was brought up horribly. You know, I think I was well deserved in all my punishments and all my whoopings I got, you know, Christian background, all this other stuff. But it's also so much more than that. Something I didn't like about growing up was one, we were always moving. Two, we never had a friend background. You know, like we were good at making friends, you and I were, but it's just like how many friends do we have across 30 some odd states, you know? You know, I actually have to go into my friends list in Facebook and be like, where do I know this person from? And be like, see where they went to high school so I know, you know,
Yeah.
which part of my life this was a part of, you know?
Right. Right.
So that being said, it's like, that's crazy. You know, that's the kind of things like I wanted. You know, I wanted a friendship. I wanted somewhere to go and party. You know, like I can't ever remember besides living at the cottage when we had like friends over for birthday parties, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I don't remember that. Maybe it happened, but maybe I'm just old. But those are the kinds of things that I would like to have, you know, we were raised, dad's all like, yeah, you can start your own business. I don't know that you believe that versus me believing that. I believe
Mm,
in like, I love what I do with the engineering background. And I more or less would love to provide that stability for the kids, not only to
mhm.
just pursue what they want to do, but also to, have the kind of fans and family and, I don't know, support as
Yeah,
far as staying in one place goes.
yeah, I get you. Okay.
If you ain't
Is
thought of
that,
nothing by now,
no, is
you're
that
out of luck.
is that enough? Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, is there? So I guess in so I guess kind of like all your vision like kind of like bleeds together, right? Just kind of like everything for your education and the family and kind of like the situation that you're in kind of all bleed
Um,
in together.
I would have been just as well just working at a factory my whole life
Mm,
and just being able to come home to my kids at the end of the day.
okay.
I never pushed myself to go to college. That was all my wife's dream of me
Mm,
making more money and all that other stuff. And
hmm.
you know, we're making it just fine. I didn't need more money. I had my family.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that was the ultimate demise of my relationship when I started going to school full time or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, the vision was the same. How I get to that vision is malleable. There was no set goal. It was just that was the end goal. There was no path, to
Okay.
that goal.
I got you.
There was nothing about the journey. It was the end destination.
Yeah. Yeah. Just how you get there could vary.
Just to go on a tangent here, it's funny how you hear it different ways. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Well,
Hmm.
it's not about the journey, it's the destination, Which is it? Which
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Trade offs. Which one do you prefer?
Yeah.
I'm all about the journey to the destination. It's just everything.
Yeah. I would say so. So for I guess the vision that I've got for us is first off to become a more than two-person family. Um, in about a year, that's or a little over maybe a year and a half, somewhere in there. That's the plan for that. Then I guess ultimately like like so it's interesting because I've also been slacking in my leadership in relationship to like how our faith is and how our relationship with God is. Like she's working on Sundays, I'll sometimes work on Sundays. So we don't really spend the time on what is traditionally the holy day doing anything holy per se. But even in that, like we have plenty of time, like maybe on like a Monday, like today, or Tuesday, or a Wednesday, or a Thursday, or a Friday, any other day to actually like spend some time with God and leading in that relationship. And so like that's probably the first and most important place that I need to focus my vision on is making sure that God, our belief, our faith, is the first and most important place for us to be, our most important direction that we need to focus on. Then after that, it's like everything else. It's like wanting to. We're probably going to move back to the U.S. in the better part of like 5 years or less. Then with that, being able to have some form of or some ability, like even with this podcast, like what I would love for us it to happen with is to just create this podcast and other podcasts that can give us the freedom to be able to do it anywhere. I mean, the fact that I'm in China right now and you're in the States and we're able to do this podcast, like that was mind boggling. But I was, I'm
Modern
wanting
technology.
Yeah, and I'm wanting to be able to continue that, being able to drive that outside, like not being confined. Because like right now, I'm confined to China because the job that I've got is here, and I can't really travel anywhere. Because if I want to get back to China, it's going to be a really, really, really big pain in the butt. And so it's like crap. Like I can't really do anything right now, and I'm relying so much on the job that I have here that I can't really leave it. But I want to be able to in the next and so in that I want to be able to be free in that sense. But then also like I really do want my wife to be able to be fine and handle herself without me, you know, thinking in the next
So I mean that goes into the whole next point of just the fourth
right,
idea.
right.
Teaching her how to lead without you, teaching her
Exactly. Exactly.
how
It's called a
to.
segue, bro. That's what I'm doing. I'm segueing
Oh, is that
into
right? Is that?
ba-da-da, ba-da-da,
I
ba-da-da.
mean,
You know.
yes, I
Yeah.
know what you're doing. I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
helping you get there a little
Yeah. No, no,
faster.
no. I was gonna get there. I was gonna get there. But yeah, yeah,
All,
being able
all
to
that
teach
speed you're
her,
getting with that head of yours being slicked back now.
yeah, aerodynamic. But yeah, being able to teach her how to survive without me, and also being able to do that with whoever God blesses us with, the children that we get, even if we don't get to have children, if we adopt, that's fine. All of these different things. And so, and even just the kids that I've got here, the students that I've got, being able to give them the knowledge that I have to be able to survive on their own.
Well, and then your coaches too.
Well, yeah, 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 yeah.
For sure, your coaches. Not just kids, with coaches for sure
And,
to
and
survive without you.
I got to tell you, it's crazy because like there's kind of like a mindset here, and I wouldn't say it's not in the U.S., but I think that there's like a deep seated mindset here that like you cut off information at the top, like you don't let that information trickle down because most of the people above are afraid of you know
Succession.
yeah, I'm afraid of like losing you as a great employee to someone else or you taking over their position. And so like and I know that that happens in the States. I mean, I just see it more readily here. I've seen it in the States, but it's now one of the blessings that I've got is I currently work for a company where there's actually a couple of foreigners above me who understand like in order for me to do my job really well, they had to teach me how to get better. And so they've got to train me and coach me up and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean it really is about leading others and guiding others.
Absolutely.
So good. Cool. Got anything else you want to hit on or you want to roll on out with
Yes,
this
I
one?
want to
Okay.
hit on something
Get
one
it.
more time.
Get it.
Most people, wrapping up, not only look for an excuse, not people, we're talking about men here. Most men not only look for someone to make the decision, the fall person.
Mm-hmm.
I was a leader in my last job. I was a team lead. And my God, you would see how quickly people turned on you whenever something was wrong. You know what? Andrew told me to do that. You're right. I did tell you to do that. And, it's still a mess up. We still have to fix it. This nobody wants to be wrong.
Mm.
And then the next step is, stepping out of that, own up to when you're wrong. But also don't wait for somebody to give you permission. We're all raised and trained, wait until you're told you can do this, wait until you do that, wait until you do that. And I'm not saying step out of your own way to like make somebody's life a living hell, but I'm saying, if you're afraid of making a decision because you're going to fail or you're waiting for somebody to say, hey, it's okay to do that, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
See where it leads you,
Mm-hmm.
jump out there. You know, I'd say me taking that second shift job, even though it cost me my job, was probably the best decision ever because it gave me the experience of leadership, but it also taught me, how quickly, and I had a class about too, how quickly you could become something else. People are like, I want to lead, but do you?
Mm.
You don't understand how quickly you're no longer a friend to now you're my boss and now I look at you differently. That just comes from growing. That comes from change. That comes from you stepping into a position that you're not ready for. You have to know what you're getting ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself, weigh the consequences, weigh the pros and cons, and then jump for it or don't jump for it. Make
Yeah.
the decision, live with it.
Yeah.
Wait for nobody to ask them that.
Yep. Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, you got to take responsibility for it. I mean, and I think that that's the thing is like that's what we kind of miss out on is and being able to apologize for mistakes that you've made. That's the other thing is like people don't want to necessarily do that, and we've missed that as a whole, like just as society, as men, period, around the world. It's like if you mess up, if you make a mistake, then admitting to that mistake and being okay, and then being like, okay, I'm responsible for this mistake. I need to do this. I need to fix this, or I need to work on making amends. Then doing that. I think that that's something that's hugely missed out on for a lot of us. So yeah. So presiding, go first. Um, do the things that you're asking other people to do. Making those decisions. Okay, number two, making those decisions and then taking responsibility for the decisions you make. And again, going back to this idea of if you make a mistake, apologize, own up to it, take that responsibility, and be like, yeah, I messed up. Number three, casting a vision, like making sure that the people who follow you know that there is an end destination, that you are heading in one direction, whoever it is, wife, coworkers, kids, students, employees, whomever it is. And then the last one is be willing to share your ideas, be willing to share your knowledge and create
Share
other.
your vision and your knowledge of how you're
Right.
getting there.
Yep. Being willing to teach others how to lead so that they can in turn continue leading in your stead, go off and lead other people, or go off and lead their even their families if they happen to stay where you are, whatever it is, anything like leading your wife, your children to be able to survive without you and be able to handle things without you, those types
Absolutely.
of things. So anyway, thank you so much for listening in. We do appreciate you being here. Please hit that subscribe. We will be back next week talking about more and more. If you happen to be on YouTube, if you would click over here, you can get the rest of our series on sovereignty. If you click over here, you'll go back to our discussion of chapter 5 in sovereignty. And don't forget to subscribe down here. I'm Nick.
I'm Andrew.
Bye bye.